So now that we have some quantities for centripetal acceleration, let's go through just a single example. And so we know that a pilot will black out at the bottom of a dive if the centripetal acceleration is greater than 4 Gs. Does a pilot moving at 80 meters per second through a 150 meter radius dive black out? And so what we're talking about is, let me see if I can draw there. It's like a circular path. And so we have an airplane at the bottom of a dive. And so pulling out of a dive, that's what we're talking about. Now, why would somebody black out at the bottom of a dive? So what we have to think about is the pilot inside of it. So the pilot's inside. Now, as you come down through this, then the blood inside of the body, all of this blood, is going to want to continue moving forward. And so as the pilot is being pushed upward, the blood is going to, in effect, move down into the legs. And so you're going to get an accumulation of blood in the legs and away from the head. So blood is going to move away from the head into the legs. And so you'll get a blackout. Lack of blood to the brain causes a blackout. All right, so let's figure out if this guy's going to black out. And so we know the radius is 150 meters. And we know the velocity, the tangential velocity, is 80 meters per second. So this centripetal acceleration, we learned, is v squared over r. And so we end up with 80 squared divided by 150, which is, let me calculate it real quick, 80 squared divided by 150. We get 42.6 or 42.7. And that's meters per second squared. But we want to know how many G's that is. And so we divide the 42.7 divided by 9.8. So divided by 9.8, and that's 4.35 G's. And so if it's greater than 4G, yes, so he's at risk of blacking out. Now, the other thing is that it depends on the amount of time he's accelerating. And so if this happens over a couple of seconds, then yes, he'll black out. But if this is just a half a second or so, then no. Okay, so just going back to this, what pilots actually, what they do is they wear a special suit, and the suit will compress the legs. So it blows up full of air and squeezes the legs, and that keeps the blood from flowing down and keeps it all up in the head. So when you see pilots, they wear these suits that are hooked up and can blow air in. But this guy's going to black out.